Our two 4x9 pieces are the actual size that we're needing. As far as our loft top, we'll be using one of our 5-inch boards and one of our narrow boards on each side. This narrow board that's longer will actually overlap our smaller one. So just keep in mind that these are paired up whenever we're making these next cuts. So the next thing that I'm going to do to try to get this metal look is to just measure over 1.25 inch increments all the way down. We need to make those marks on each one of our boards. Now with our boards marked out, let's head over to the miter saw and make these grooves. So to get this look, we're going to be using the miter saw's depth stop. Now you can also do this on the table saw using a miter jig, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this way for those that may not know how. So to set your depth stop, you'll simply lower this little tab, drop your blade, and then with your material against the blade, you want your teeth to overhang your material about 1/8 of an inch. Then you'll just put a thin piece of scrap wood against your fence, and we're ready to make these cuts. So with our depth stop set, we'll simply make these grooves lining up with each one of our marks. And then once we have that done, let's go and get these painted. So for our roof, I want it to kind of look like a rusted silver. Back in the day, the farmers loved this silver color. So as you can see, I'm starting out with a black base on all of this. It's mainly just to fill in all of our grooves. And I'm going to go over the top with a silver colored paint. Then to add a rusted look, I'm going to add a bit of copper paint. Now again, this part's completely up to you. Get creative with it. Alright, so I got my roof panels all fixed up. I think that they turned out pretty cool. There you go. Looks like an old rusted roof to me. So now with our roof boards cut and painted up, let's go and get these attached. And before you attach this, make sure that you're leaving 1/2 inch overhang on each end. So we're going to start out by attaching our 1.25 and 1.75 boards. I'm going to put the 1.25 board on my right side and overlap it with the 1.75. Now with the two narrow boards attached, let's go ahead and add our 5-inch boards. Okay, so now that we have the loft roof on, let's go ahead and add our shed roofs. Now for the shed roofs, the only thing that we have to make sure of is that our angle that we cut on the board is against our wall. And just like for our top, we'll make sure that we leave 1/2 inch overhang on each side. Alright, so as awesome as this thing looks right now, let's kick it up a notch. We're almost done. So I'm going to make a couple of barn doors for this thing. Each one of my doors are 2.25 inches by 6 inches tall. Then I just put some grooves in it like we did for the walls using the table saw. And then for the boards that I'm putting on top, this is 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch material. For the top and bottom of our Z, they're 2.25 inches long. And then our center board for the Z is 3 3/4 of an inch long with 26-degree angles on each end. And the last little thing that I'm adding to these doors is going to be a sliding rail. And the very last thing that I'm doing to my little barn is putting some trim up around the edges to hold in any birdseed. For this, I've ripped my trim down to 1.5 inches wide and put a 45-degree angle on each side. For this, you'll need 2 boards that are 16 inches long and 2 boards that are 18 inches long. Since mine is made for a bird feeder, I did not include a clean-out door for the birdhouse. But if you actually want to use this as a birdhouse, just install one of your loft roofing boards using screws instead of nails. That will allow you to remove a roof panel anytime that you want to clean it out. Alright, so check this out. This thing turned out awesome. And we made the entire thing just using fence pickets. So you just watched me build this entire project. There's no part of this project that you couldn't handle. So, no excuses. Is this something that you'd like to build for yourself as a gift or to sell?